It's a full circle.
So when you first came out with it, what was the marketing push? Like did y'all come out with one design or like a bunch of them?
We actually had tried one design before with the brand, and it's kind of one track. If you tell me you have a brand and you only have one item, I only have one thing to buy from you.
Yeah.
So when we started this brand, we actually started with about 12 items from day one, and then we just expanded from those 12 items. But even when we were moving from city to city in the Sprinter, we probably had 40 items in the Sprinter at a time for a consumer to buy.
Like, so it was literally a rolling store. It wasn't really like you were coming to buy a t-shirt from us. It's like you come to buy a t-shirt, and then it's like we also got 4 different pair of washes of jeans in here with the socks that we're giving away for free at this time.
Right.
Like every outfit really coming with a pair of underwear and a pair of socks. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yo, Benji, you gave me some game too. And I never, ever thought about this. And I want you to tell them, like, we were going through and I'm looking at like socks and underwear, and y'all got toothbrushes and all kind of stuff. And you said something so dope. And I was like, and I asked you like, yo, do those make money? Do you sell a lot of them? And you said, no, I just need more stuff in your house.
Exactly.
Can you explain that? That joint changed my life. I said, it's
just how
y'all do this.
All right. It's just products that you have pretty much that'll never run out in the household.
And we're basically turning our brand into Michael Jordan.
Right.
Because we're a household name. Like, if you think about it, it's like, oh, damn, toothbrush? Damn, I got a bounce. We make miscellaneous products on purpose, the kind of products
because you're never going to throw it away.
It's like we make bouncy balls. It's like, damn, where does bouncy ball come from? Came in a Tool and S package. We got the basketball goals for the that go on the doors. It's like everything that you could possibly think of to make this brand a household brand.
Exactly.
We have it. Because
kind of think of it like a McDonald's toy.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go to your aunt's house, she never throws them away. That's the same way it is with our socks and everything. So if I give them to you, I give you 10 pair. You let them sit around and then they end up at your mom's house. When the last time she threw away all the socks in her house?
So first, you have about 9 items. You come up with the concepts, the designs. First of all, why did you stop the first brand?
We stopped the first brand because it was not
really
the cash flow wasn't identifiable to what we needed it to be. And also, like he said earlier, we were trying to make something that was more of us.
Right.
Like we had business partners with the Fly Hearts Never Broken brand. It was more so their style than our style.
And then a lot of inconsistencies in the growth of the brand that kind of just led. I mean, we were always into fashion because we're fashionable people.
Yeah.
So we can be the face of any fashion brand or clothing brand.
Right.
So at that point with the inconsistency, it kind of grew away from where we could actually grow it from our influence ourselves.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? Because you got other partners who just looking at it as a business, and it's actually what we do, what we stand for, our lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? That we actually have to put inside of this brand to make it grow.
So I think we went from a brand, like a clothing brand, to a lifestyle, actual Southern culture brand. Like everything we do now is based on Southern culture. Even our the colorways we pick, everything else, it involves like the life from Texas to Florida. It doesn't even include the other demographics of the United States.
Give me an example.
The colors?
Well, not even with that. New York brand may be more identifiable with Timberland. They're going to make everything based around that specific Timberland. In the South, we buy Jordans every week. It's like Air Force Ones. And then brighter colors.
Exactly.
The Southern culture is kind of like trap culture. We don't skateboard. We don't do this. We don't do that. So
we actually just get fresh.
I mean, the South, you just get fresh.
Just get fresh. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you go from my sneaker collection to your sneaker collection, I can guarantee us, people in the South, we have anything we like. We got the Timbs. We don't need Timbs. Really.
Right.
We got Timbs for no reason. You get what I'm saying? We got the Jordans. We got Air Force Ones. And when you think about New York and stuff, they don't have all of that. So we catering to, we are going to put on our Timbs. So we got the dust jeans. You get what I'm saying?
We got the jeans to match the Vans, the West Coast. We got the Converse, because we're covering every surface. The South is every surface. We don't have an identifiable fashion item. It's almost like a melting pot. I mean, of course, the people from the West Coast or up north wouldn't understand that unless they were here. But I mean, everybody in this room knows just as much as anybody that Timberlands are a part of Atlanta culture just as much as New York culture. I mean, but at the end of the day, they can say that it came from them, but everybody was wearing Timberlands in the early 90s. I mean, that didn't stop in just New York. It happened in Alabama also. Like beef and broccoli Timberlands were popular in the 90s in Alabama also. It didn't stop there. But we just wanted it to make things for our people, like the Southern people, where it's actually, I know where this brand comes from. Yeah. What brand in the South, you know where it comes from? I know where all the brands on Fairfax come from, L.A.
Yeah. We dropped the brand. We got 9 items. Mm-hmm. What do? We do you drop ship? Do you print all of?
At the time, we're on hand only.
How many did you print?
100. We had 9 items, 100 per item. So 900 items, 1,000 items.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it was a never stopping process.
So after that, we ordered every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So from there, that's how we actually grew the revenue that we actually have to this day to make it where we were able to make $17 million. So every 2 weeks after we were hustling, we pretty much made an order. You get what I'm saying? We were having new items, and that's what got us in the mindset of like, if we got a car full of stuff, we always gonna make money. Yeah. This can actually be where we make millions of dollars if we don't just make 2 things at a time.
Right.
If we have a car full of stuff where we can actually, because the sales strategy and everything that we have now, we still had it in the Sprinter. So we would still market a full-blown sale, Black Friday sale in our Sprinter van. You get what I'm saying?
I could take that back. So I had a break-even point analysis for every item. And basically, from those 9 items, we made $90,000 because it was a $10,000 break-even point for every 100 items we bought.
Explain that.
So in business, you're the break-even point, you can use it in numbers, just on the spreadsheet. I mean, you can pull it up on your iPhone now.
And it'll give you the formula.
You can insert, I'm going to spend $12,000 on inventory. Mm-hmm. Each item is $14 a piece. I want to sell each item for $160 a piece.
How many items
you need to sell.
Gotcha.
At that price. So your break-even point may be 98 items. I actually just did one of these for one of my people who want to do merch this morning. I made him a break-even analysis for him to understand how many merch items he would need to sell to actually capitalize.
When the pandemic hit, we were the only people. We always do product management, so we work months ahead. So we were the only people with clothing. We had shelves full. The whole entire world.
You couldn't ship anything.
We could ship.
We couldn't get anything into.
We were already ready though.
But we had it already.
Wow.
It was coming by water, so we were having boxes.
When Saks and everything was closed, all of the rappers and everybody was in our clothes because we were the only place they could come to.
Wow.
So we worked every day during the pandemic because we actually had customers. Right. We were sending out at the minimum 500 orders a day.
Right, and then we had a customer base that we got all the rappers in our clothing, and they actually paid because.
So we running POS through the warehouse hand to hand, and my minimum during the pandemic was $750 to come see me, and I would at least see
because we had to wear masks and everything. So you had
really. So if somebody want to come shop with you, they got to spend at least $750.
Facts. They can write it under this YouTube post. You can ask anybody that to come see Benji, to come see the warehouse. $750. It was $1,000 at one point in time because I was protecting my family. My brother just had my nephew. We had a newborn, our first baby of the family. We like
you'll risk it for that thou wow.
It was turning into 10. I would make through the P. We were doing anywhere from 50,000 a day online plus, and then I was probably clocking on POS hand to hand, maybe 20 to 30,000.
All right, so I need to know how this is happening because everybody has a good idea, and we're like, yo, we're gonna go hit the streets. So y'all get this stuff in your house. Mm-hmm. You packing it, you like
no, everything is already ready.
Everything is
ready. We
got you.
When it comes to the door, it's actually ready to ship.
So hold on. Did y'all start out getting shipments in, like overseas?
Yes. We never.
So y'all ain't just get no blanks and print the joint call it a day?
Never. We always knew that. That was always our cheat code because, we figured that out a while ago. So
no blanks. We never. I
always cut a song.
I can't even tell you anything about screen printing. I can't even work a machine. I don't know how to load colors and
right. Never did.
Okay. before I get into that, I want to get into like the production of it. Because I want to know how, like, when it comes to your house, like how you start selling. But talk to me about, because it seems like not dangerous, but one time I ordered some socks from overseas.
Right.
And they packed them, all the lefts together and all the, you know, you have a pack, you get a left and a right? They pack the lefts and the rights together. Lefts, you get 2 lefts here and 2 rights. And the rights was shorter than the lefts. It was crazy, bro.
Right.
And every time I've ever gone overseas to like get something, it's not exactly what you want, but maybe because I don't understand that game. So
that's exactly what
how did you learn that, the cut and sew
That's
part?
the technicalities that you talked about when it came to the warehouse.
Before anybody was doing Alibaba and any of this stuff, I actually knew how to trade internationally. So I could get you anything you would need. Okay, with that being said, I know how things overseas work. I know that if you don't pay the mold fee and get specific things done, then it's not going to be correct. They're going to give you what they have.
What do you mean get specific things done? What do you mean?
Okay, so let's say we're making a women's shoe. And I just said that because I seen her shoes. And it's not, and we want it to be a luxury brand. You have to understand the components of that shoe to actually make it a luxury shoe. You can't just, some people get on Alibaba and just type in the nice heel. And then now they send them a catalog of nice heels and you pick and put your name on it. That's not what we do. No. A lot of brands copy us and do that way, but a lot of items that we develop, like our sweatpants, the ones you have on,
these are crazy.
It's no sweatpants like those.
Look at
the
bottom.
Designed the bottom. Like the bottom cuff is me measuring it. And,
zoom in on the cuff.
Right.
This is a cuff right here.
And me making that cuff that way. So you couldn't go and be like, oh yeah, I had on a nice sweatsuit. I want to just order one of these from overseas and it's going to be just like
And we do a lot of small stuff like that to kind of just stamp our products. If you look at the seams of our jeans, it's two seam lines.
Like two line is. Like even on the back pockets. It's
Where are those your jeans?
Yeah, these are our jeans.
If you look at the back, it's 2 lines all
the way around.
Some jeans have 3. It's 2 lines because we 2 line this.
So it's based on detail. So anything you order from overseas, if you don't have the details down to a T and like a tick pack. A tick pack with like lines, even with like we just dropped a new pair of sunshades a few months ago. But me and BDP designed those glasses from scratch. Like we use a measuring tool and measure out every component of those glasses,
and everything.
The thickness, the everything.
Right.
So give me some of the things in a basic t-shirt where you're gonna talk to someone overseas. You're not saying I want a t-shirt and these are the dimensions, right? Obviously.
Correct.
But what are some other things you get into?
The GSM, you need to know the weight of the t-shirt.
What's GSM?
That's going to be the grams per square meter on the cotton fabric, and it's actually going to tell you the thickness of the fabric when you're weighing out a square cube of it. So, I mean, he has him a sweatshirt, he has him a sweatshirt.
They're totally different.
That one is 300 and that one is 400. If I cut out a square of that sweatshirt and I cut out a square of that one, it's going to weigh 100 grams less than that sweatshirt. So if you don't know those types, a lot of people always ask, how do y'all get y'all quality?
And it's just knowing. It's just knowing. It's just knowing the stuff. Because I mean, he teach me a lot of this stuff. I'm a little bit, I just soak up a lot of the game and just learn myself. But it's just actually knowing what you're doing. Like I said, it's just a difference. Right. If you don't know what to print on, you're never going to get the right product.
If you don't know the print process, if you don't know every possible print process,
there's no way you can know what's wrong. Right.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't tell them that, hey, I want this digitally print, or I want this screen print, I want this plastic print, I want this, then
they're just going to print it.
Exactly. And because they're a company just like you, and you're saying you want affordable, you want this. They know why you came. You get what I'm saying? They know why you talking to them because you want affordable. So, hey, my friend, I got you something for $750, and you wonder what happened.
Because most of us are going to play the price game first.
Can't do that with no business. We don't respect it. They don't respect it. They know it's oversaturated. You do that, and that's how you get messed up.
Just like Instagram. Like right now, like when we first entered the apparel space, nobody knew how to make clothing. Like now, if you post a t-shirt, 1,000 clothing manufacturers will write you like, hey, I do this. But I always pride myself because I tell people, they like, I've been dealing with manufacturers. I can't really get the quality right. I always make a bet. I say that, well, you can send me that manufacturer, and I'll send you mine, and I guarantee you my quality is still better than yours because you don't know what you're doing.
The same manufacturer. So it ain't the manufacturer. It's not the process.
It's It's always that dollar difference. When they tell you, hey, my friend, I can do this, and you say yes, you just screwed yourself. You just took yourself out of the power position of saying exactly what you want. It's not what
you
you
get
want.
what they give because you're paying the price.
You ask for it. You ask for it.
We don't really think about. Normally,
You literally just
clothing brand, right? You find some blanks. Where the blanks at? You gonna print it? Find a print shop.
That's merch.
That's merch.
And that's what we're saying. That's merch. Like that's merch.
Right.
It's not a technical. It's nothing technical about making merch. Like everything that we do is technical. If I show you one of my,
I can make an oversized t-shirt. I can make a box t-shirt. I can make a thin, tight t-shirt. I can make an undershirt.
We have undershirts.
Right.
And when you sell out, let's say 100 pieces of the shorts, do you order more shorts?
You order. We started at this time, and that's when he kind of implemented the structure, because at this time he went back to college because we had a constant cash flow, and he kind of just started implementing some of the true business structures.
Right.
So we dropped collections at a time. We never went back to dropping shirts. We always dropped a new collection. So when we were paying, some of the times we weren't necessarily paying for something to be here. We were paying to get the next collection started, so that we had a business schedule where, like, we don't do anything every day. So I need to go to the bank and send him some money, or Western Union. You get what I'm saying? So he needs to call me if I'm in Atlanta and he's in Alabama. Like, you got to go send this to Western Union. I got to send this because I'll limit $5,000 a piece. You get what I'm saying? So that we have a business structure. So we kind of just went to implementing business and keeping that focus to where, like I said, it was kind of where we were just having a passion in what we were doing and growing as a business. So we were making the money.
I'm going to teach you another thing that I feel like this is a strategy that we use from the beginning. It's called an overflow strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And basically we never really sold out of anything, because if I sell out, I don't have anything to sell.
Right. So that's not the goal.
That's not the goal. Our goal has always been overflow. So when I sell out of something, I'm going to buy something else. I can never have like
we spoke about the sprinter. I mean, we kind of briefly spoke about it, but it wasn't in the overflow necessarily strategy sense. But we always had a sprinter full of clothes. We would have a full sale with brand new clothes on the sprinter. So we got $50 jeans on here, and we also have $125 brand new jeans that released with the new collection with the new sweatshirts. You get what I'm saying? So,
but say these 9 items, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have 100 shorts. We sell out of the shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Are we calling the manufacturer to get 100 more of those shorts?
Those shorts in August. It's September. That was the last wave of shorts. I can't make shorts again in August. That's too risky.
Right.
Okay. Let's say a t-shirt, a popular t-shirt. You sell 100 of those t-shirts.
We don't make the same. So we can stop that. We don't make the same thing twice, period.
Ever.
So no. No.
Even if it's a hot seller.
Seller, no, because that's in our world, it builds complacency. We create denim again because denim doesn't sell based on it being a niche item. It's
or like a season.
Or seasonal. Like every type of denim, they wear them any time of the year.
If you need it, you need it with denim.
T-shirts may not like a colored t-shirt after September may not sell, period. Like we may have sold
colored t-shirts after September don't sell?
Why? Where is that?
It's date time.
I'm saying, like, where?
It's date time, it's football game time.
We just make it kind of.
We actually moving into the transition of seasons. Like
no vacations.
No vacations.
You got to just think about it. Just look around the room.
Y'all really go deeper than like how I'm thinking. If it's a t-shirt and it sold last month, that joint gonna sell again. But not necessarily.
You bring that t-shirt out in September and you sell 3 of them the first day and that's it.
Right.
That's not how it goes.
Dang,
okay. If I'm actually a brand and I actually have designers and stuff how do you think my designer will feel about us just releasing the item over and over again? Like his creativity will drain him. Like I don't want to make that no more colors.
This ain't merch.
It's not merch.
We got a clothing brand. I'm a designer.
Right.
I'm in this place of trying to figure out like how can I add value to rooms. So I know I'm in a place where I'm ready to start like building more connections and get in these rooms. Like I'm going to Black Equity Con, but outside of like fashion, I want to know how can I add value to people. And it's like I know I have value because I know when I speak, it's like it's been happening a lot lately. Like where I speak, people want to hear what I have to say, but it's just like still I'm trying to figure out. So how can I add value to these rooms? Because even in the morning meetup, I feel like for a while they would call me like the morning meetup designer, because I was like the only person in there that did fashion. And it's just like, how does that really help other people? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
for sure.
so,
I think you decide how you want to add value first, right? You know how you would add value to like this podcast?
how?
Like, so shouts out to my boy Sos. He'll be he'll look at like he'll watch the podcast, but every now and again he'll be like, that outfit, I wasn't really feeling that. You should have did this with your outfit. I'm like, oh, bet. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I remember it's like maybe 8 months ago, 9 months ago. So I love Levi's jeans. And he was like, it's time to step it up, bro. No more Levi's. I'm like, yo, I like Levi's. They fit well. But they only fit good because that's what I'm used to wearing. He said the perfect fit for you is when you put them on and you say, these are a little tight. He said, that's a perfect fit. When they feel a little uncomfortable, he said, that's the perfect fit. And I said, well, what are like some good jeans? He was like, try Purple Brand. He said, Diesel. He said, Star, something like G-Star. Yeah, G-Star. So I went and got my first pair. I went to the mall and I got some Diesel jeans. And I put them on and I'm like, I don't know, you think this kind of tight? And the attendant was like, nah, they perfect, they good. And I remember what So said, if I feel a little uncomfortable, they're perfect. So I got them. And I started wearing them. And he noticed on the podcast, he said, oh, you switched up your jeans a little bit, right? I said, yeah. And ever since then, like when I started thinking about outfit stuff, I call him.
Okay.
He could send me an approach saying, yo, put me on this particular retainer and I'll be your stylist for, if you're going on this podcast, this show, and I'll help you style your look. Or a shopping day where you put together a budget and I'll go with you. And I trust him now because like I have his voice in my head, right? When I start getting dressed.
Yeah.
So you add value by doing what you know best, which is fashion. You ain't never give me no fashion suggestions. Yo, he told me, I had a chain. I have one chain. It's like it's white gold, but it's like a little thinner than this, and it has a social proof joint. And I went to like his shop one day, and he was like, that social proof is cool, but the rope need to be a little bigger. He said, if you go on, because I was like trying to get on Breakfast Club or something like that. He said, you go on Breakfast Club, make sure you get a bigger rope because that's gonna look crazy, that little chain. I thought it was fine until he said something, but I trust his opinion so much, I've not worn that joint since.
That makes sense. I think about it from a point of view, like, I know where I'm trying to go. I feel like once I get to a certain point, then I'll be able to add more value. Like, I'm trying to build an international brand. Once I accomplish that, I know I'll be able to add more value. I'm trying to like build out my fashion program and do like designer grants and have fabric stores and build my courses to be like this really big thing. And so I know like as I grow that, I'll have like that knowledge to bring to other people who are like outside of the fashion industry. Now, though.
You have the knowledge. You got to start where you are. Before you get all that stuff that you was talking about, you got to start right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you have no idea. If you came in and you styled me and all that kind of stuff, you never know if I'm gonna invest in an apparel brand. It makes money. I know that part, but how do I know if they stuff fly? Who am I call?
Yeah.
You might have walked yourself into some equity just by adding value in where you are right now.
Okay, that makes sense. I
My
like
boy,
that approach.
I wish he'd have to like pop on my timeline because I don't have his Instagram, but he'd be doing so many videos on like fashion, different styles, different looks and all kinds of stuff. When I find it, I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at, but he just be doing these little outfits and they really cool reels. And I think that'd be an inspiration for you. I'm gonna try to find it, but.
I was thinking about trying to like do something like that soon.
Yeah.
But also, since I am like in like a luxury space, it wouldn't be like me trying to help people figure out their everyday wear, but maybe like for events or something, or even like I know for maybe like connecting with high level men, like maybe bringing their wives into it some type of way, like maybe I could help them.
But you don't know what's going to lead into that.
True.
You don't know. Like if you like, okay, so I'm not your target market, ideal client.
Yeah, because I work with women.
Right. But if you're displaying your excellence in fashion, you think I don't know any women? I have a wife.
Makes sense.
You feel me? Yo, this thing gotta be you all day long. All day long. This gotta be you. I talk about podcasting, entrepreneurship all day long. I don't care if it's my ideal client, none of that. It's I am this.
Yeah.
So you need to be when you see something and you have a suggestion, I'm sure Donnie's coming here with an outfit, you had some sort of suggestion. Or you like the way you did it. You could explain it like, oh, I like the way you did that. Then we see you as an expert. It's not that you're trying to get her as a client, but this gotta be you all day, every day. Fashion, everything.
So when I go to Black Equity Con, that's how I should start relationships or like approach people in that way? Like
100%. Get a camera phone and have somebody hold it and say, yo, I'm about to go around Black Equity Con and I'm gonna point out the dopest outfits and I'm gonna explain why these outfits are the outfit. All right, yo, I see you got this outfit. Okay, I see you got this. It's giving me like a 70s, 90s theme. I remember watching a TLC video where they had this on, but you gotta be like well read and study your industry or whatever. But you go around explaining how you understand fashion.
I like that.
You should.
I'm gonna try that out. So my question is about basically how you solidify your position as like the podcast king, like as an expert in podcasts. And I've gotten so much clarity on like how I want to do that in fashion. Like the skills I have, like I specialize in couture draping. That's typically a skill that like they do in Paris or even like the really expensive schools in New York. And it's very rare. Like a lot of people don't know how to do it. So I want to like stray away from doing like any type of garments that don't have to do with draping or just anything that I was previously doing. Interviews.
Got the answer. Go win.
Go win.
Go win. Go be successful in it, and then you become expert.
Okay, so
it's not about like branding and like redoing videos and teaching good. I call myself podcast king. One, I became it because I just said that's going to be my name now. But I grew a podcast, one of the top podcasts in the country, in the 1% of podcasts. But not only myself, we've done these Launch Your Podcast challenges and we've had hundreds of people launching their podcasts. I've helped multiple people make money from their podcasts. I understand the podcasting space. I'm growing multiple podcasts myself. And I made a lot of money from podcasting. So it's not just, and there are some people who just don't have successful podcasts, but they're teaching people how to be podcasters. Yeah. Which I'm not, it's no knock on it. Keep doing your thing. I'm just saying if you want to be considered an expert, you got to have some big wins. Not the fact that you constructed a dress, but can you get multiples? Did anyone wear one of your pieces at the Met Gala?
No, but it was worn on Bravo TV and
there it is.
Best dressed by 1.5 million people.
Let's get some more of those.
Okay, so I guess in my head, I'm wondering if I'm like trying to do too much to make myself, so people could realize that I'm an expert. So I mentioned the fashion show opportunity I have coming up, but I know I should do that. And I know that, of course, that'll help with me like being positioned as an expert. And then also like I've been doing classes. Like recently I had like a post that got a whole lot of attention. I had about 100 people reach out to me saying they want to learn how to drape from me because it's like a really like wanted skill. But I guess in my head it's like, am I stretching myself too thin even though I know all of these things will help by position, like it will help me position myself as an expert. Like probably. The YouTube channel will help, the fashion show will help, me doing these classes will help, and like it's great income. Like I can charge so much to teach this because
if you feel like you're being spread too thin, you probably are.
Okay.
Because especially it's just you don't have a team of people, right? Yeah. If I were you, I go find a bunch of wins doing one thing. And your focus might be for the rest of the year, the next year and a half, is I'm making dress after dress after dress after dress, and I'm knocking on these stylist doors, just trying to get as many pieces on actors and in front of as many big names as possible in events, and that's what makes you an expert. Not the fact that you have a cool YouTube channel, but you go win, or you focus on how can I build a class because you know what to do, right? You know how to like put it together, then figure out how to teach it, and they go get some wins, and that's huge because you could say, I've helped 600 people this year make their first piece or make their first gown, and now I got kids making their own prom dresses and all that kind of stuff. That's a win. Okay. You got some numbers and statistics behind you doing something excellent, and that's what makes you a guru.
What would you say is the best way for me to push out the meaning of my brand?
The best way to push out the meaning of the brand is to push out the meaning of the brand. And what I'm going to ask you is, what do you think is the best way to push out the meaning of your brand?
So I think going to events is the best way for me to push out my brand, because that's when I get the best results from it. Yeah. I do reels and TikTok, but I get the engagement sometimes, but it's not the engagement I'm looking for to push out the meaning of the brand.
Gotcha. So you're doing events now?
Yes.
And you feel the best way to push out the meaning of the brand is events. Right. So you're already doing that. Yeah. But you're here because there's a problem with that.
Right.
So I'm going to ask the same question again.
Okay.
What do you think the best way? I don't want to know what you're currently doing, because what you're currently doing isn't getting you the results that you want, even though it's going well, right? But my question is, if you had to really sit there and think, what do you think is the best way to push out the meaning of the brand, whether you have the resources or the know-how to do it or not?
Do more events.
Okay.
Do more events to push out the meaning of the brand.
Cool. All right. Here's the problem with events.
Okay.
The issue with an event, if you're a vendor, typically, then there are other vendors there. Meaning there's a whole bunch of options. Right?
Right.
And if you're at the event, you're only confined to the amount of people in the room. So we could say do more events, and there's 100 people in the room. That doesn't mean you're going to sell 100 shirts.
Right.
So let's say, how many hoodies did you sell at InvestFest? Or hoodies, hats?
Whatever. I sold 30 hoodies.
30 hoodies.
I sold like 60 t-shirts.
Okay.
And I sold about 25 hats. And I sold every pair of socks. So that was like 30 pair of socks.
Gotcha. So it sounds like we sold about 160 items. So you said 30 hoodies, 60 t-shirts, that's 90. You sold 30 hats?
Like 25 hats in the artist. Yeah, so around
25
that.
Hats. Yeah, so let's just say 150 items. There was 12,000 people at InvestFest.
Right.
And you sold 100 and something items. Good results?
Not good results.
But that was that the biggest place that you vended?
It was the biggest place, but it wasn't the most profitable place.
Gotcha. What was the most profitable?
Black Equity Con.
Ah, yeah, man, we out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How much did you sell at Black Equity Con?
I made 8,000 at Black Equity Con. So I sold about 30 short sets. But I sold 30 men's short sets. I sold about 30 women's short sets. And I also sold out t-shirts with like 50 t-shirts. And I sold about 10 to 12 velour suits.
I love it. Okay. Well, I feel good about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think you're still going to be confined to the amount of people that were in the room.
Right.
And it's still significantly smaller than the people that were there. So I don't think events is the best way to get the meaning out of the brand, because it's only the people there.
Right.
You know how many people are on Instagram or on TikTok or on the internet?
Billions.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible, right? So we understand that I'm not saying it's not a good way to get the message out. It's just not the best way.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you to think a little harder. Outside of events, what's another really good way to get your message out?
Maybe I should post more on Instagram.
Maybe.
Post more.
Maybe, or you should.
I should post more on Instagram.
How often do you post now?
I post like twice a day.
You post twice a day. Okay. Consistently every day?
Not every day.
So you don't post twice a day.
So I post twice 10 times a week. So I post twice some day, but like 10 times a week. I could do like free Zoom calls
Mhm.
that promote the meaning of the brand with kids, things like that. I could start a membership.
Yeah. What would that
And
membership entail?
it would entail what it means to be dope. I'll provide them dope tips of the days, affirmations, things they can do to dominate their day.
Yeah.
Books, I could recommend them some books to read, things like that.
How long have you had that idea?
I've had that idea about 2 weeks, I believe.
And I was at a mastermind and I learned this. Shouts out to Grant Cardone. I'm at this mastermind and he said we have to minimize the time between idea and monetization. So you probably have a million amazing ideas, but the real issue is you're not executing on them. You're not. Here's what I think. I don't think you're taking it seriously, and you're taking whatever life gives you. If there's an event, you're reactionary. Say, "Oh, I'll go to the event and I'll sell some clothes." But if someone doesn't decide to put on an event, then you're not going to sell no apparel. Which you can't build your business based on somebody else's activities, especially somebody else you don't even know. So you're just waiting for events to come up.
Right.
How often do you vend?
So I vend like every other month.
Every other month. And you feel that's the best way to build your business?
As of right, like from what I was going through, like that's what was seeming like the best way.
It's the best thing you've done.
Best thing
but it's
I've
not
done.
the best way to build a business.
Right.
You can't let your best concept be based on what you've done.
Okay.
Like we got to get in front of millions of people.
Right.
The question is, how do we get in front of millions of people? Listen, if I was going to teach you how to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Like if I had a course teach you how to make $1 million a year positive, you're going to make $1 million, would you give me 10,000? Of course you would. It's no brainer, right? So in a calendar year, we make 7 figures with the podcast. But there's 21 things that I extracted from that you're going to need to launch your podcast. But I only got time to give you 3 right now. One is you need a distribution platform. The distribution platform is what you upload your podcast to. That platform sends it to Spotify, Apple, Google Play, so that your supporters can actually listen to your podcast. You're also going to need a microphone. You need a really good microphone so it's crispy audio. And 3, you need an income strategy. This is not necessarily a hobby, unless you're going to make it a hobby. But I can teach you how I made the 7 figures with these 21 things. Now, the good news is you don't have to give me 10,000. My ebook is only $37, okay? So listen, go to podcastebook.com and get the 21 things that you need. And I can explain it in detail, all the things that you need, okay? Podcastebook.com. Let's get to the episode. That's the real question. The only reason I'm asking you questions I'm answering your question with a question is because you're 20 years old, you're brilliant, and you can come up with some answers. Yeah. But we don't really sit down and think.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So today we might have a think session on I'm going to ask the question one more time, okay? What is the best way, if you had to pick up one, just take some time to think about it if you need to. What is the best way to get this message out to the world?
Posting consistently on social media.
Okay.
That's what I believe is the best way.
Let me ask you. Is it better for you to post about your brand or is it better for somebody else to post about your brand?
I believe it's better for me to post.
Is it?
Post about my brand.
If you post about your brand today and I post about your brand today, I'll probably sell more of your products than you. Would you agree?
Yes. So I'm not the best person. So I should get more people talking about my brand.
I think he's getting there. He's getting there.
I should get more people talking about my brand.
It's all about reach.
Right.
The more people you're in front of, the more money you make, period. So the question is exposure. It's not about like it's not how many people I can sell to. It's about how many people I can get in front of.
Right.
So now our question is, how can we get in front of more people? That's my question for you.
I can utilize relationships. Mm-hmm. So I can ask someone, can you do this for me? Or ask them, do they know someone who can do this for me? Yep. Things like that.
100%. Where would we start?
I would text my queer.
Okay.
And I would ask him, who does he know?
Yep.
And can he get me in contact with them? 100%. And then I would tell them about the brand, ask them, can they post about it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I know there are certain brands, they'll send out packages to influencers. Mm. And you have a better opportunity than I do, believe it or not. So if I come out with a brand and you come out with a brand, and I text an influencer or I come in contact with an influencer and I say, yo, I got this clothing brand. I would like you to wear it and make a post and tag me. I don't have no money, but I like you to post it. You know what they're going to tell me?
No.
Absolutely not. But you are 20, attractive young man, very respectful. If I was you, I'm leading with that. You're 20 years old? Bro, when's your 21st birthday?
April 16th.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You've got until April 15th to be young and cute. Because at 21, you're a grown man. So I asked somebody to do something like post my clothes. There's a conversation about money. You, 20 years old, doing something positive, have you ever had somebody like older or influential say, yo, man, oh yeah, I love what you're doing, young man.
Yeah.
And they support it, right? I know I did.
Right.
I didn't buy it because I'm like, yo, this is the most amazing brand in the world. I bought it because very respectful, doing something positive. You got a positive message. You're trying to impact a group of people who need it, who are young Black kids. And I see myself in you. But you got till April to go hard, to really put a footprint. And then you got to change strategy. Okay. Right now, you need, my man Trey, you know Trey Brown with Spurgo?
Yeah.
Nobody even knew what Spurgo meant. Ask some of these people that, like, where's Spurgo? They'll tell you, I don't even know what it means. I know, that's my boy. I know it has something to do with, there's a hero in there somewhere. But am I buying it and wearing it because it's my favorite brand in the world? Why?
You buying it because you buying to him, really?
Kid's 16, 17 years old, doing something positive.
Right.
Respectful. He's super respectful. Right? So you got a vision and you're young, but the clock is ticking. I'm telling you, by the time you turn 21, you had better have a different strategy. But for right now, we need to go hard on the fact that I'm young and I'm the only person that can relate. You need to tell me in my face, yo, I know, Dave, you be talking to youth and stuff like that, but you can't reach them like I can. I'm them. You outside. Bro, you 37 years old. You don't even understand our culture. If you really, David, want to impact some kids, you need me there. Right? So this is crazy. You know what's dope? I have an event coming up in September in LA. So it's an organization in Los Angeles that they have grants, and they have a grant to bring me in to inspire the kids into entrepreneurship. So they said they have a list of people that have been on the podcast or whatever that they want to have speak to these kids, because their goal, teach the kids entrepreneurship and then come into this little pathway like what they do and help them get a job in their field. So eventually maybe they'll get into entrepreneurship or whatever. Guess who was on that list?
Who?
Trey. I've never even seen Trey do a presentation or speak. But I think they understand that, yes, I'm good. I'll be able to teach them, but they need somebody that's them to teach them.
Right.
So one, you got to be more active on social media.
Okay.
Like in a very creative way. So if I go to your page right now, what will I see on there?
You'll just see me talking. Like you won't see, it's not much that's creative about it. It's just me talking about how to be dope or pictures of clothing.
First post is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people wearing their apparel. Good. The next post is 3 people wearing the apparel. Good. The next post is 2 people wearing the apparel. Good. We have you saying something. 3 tips on how to be dope. That's good. The next one person wearing the gear. Cool. And then most of this is the apparel. I'm not mad at you sharing posts of people wearing it, but the apparel isn't going to sell the apparel.
Right.
What's going to sell the apparel?
The message.
The message. So, you know those people that go around with their phone and they say, tell me what do you think about entrepreneurship or whatever? And they do you seen those?
Like
where they just do it on their phone? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the spot interviews?
Right.
You need to get us, influencers, saying, yo, I just need you for, 10 seconds. Tell me what it means to dominate. And that is the question. And you get me on there. You get Marquell. You get all these influencers. Right. And the reason we'll do it is because you're 20. We'll just do it. Right? And say, yo, I got a brand dominating on purpose, and create a series. You want to create some episodic content.
Okay.
Episodic means it's more than one of the same type of thing. So, like a TV episode,
Mhm.
it's the same show, but it's like different shows, right? Different topics, different themes, different things going on. The show is, let's say, I'm branding people as a dope man. Yo, you a dope or you a dope person? Yo, you dope? Are you dope? All right, bet. Tell me what it means to dominate, right? So that's the show. And it may be the same show with different series with different answers. So I'm going to give a different answer than B. Simone's going to give, or I don't know, whatever celebrity that you find is going to give. You need to create that. There's a guy right now that built a whole brand, and he's with big celebrities, where he's asking about, tell me how much your fit costs. You seen him?
Yeah, I've seen on TikTok, right.
He's huge.
Yeah.
And every time you see him with a bigger and bigger, yeah, Kanye. First off, how you do that?
Yeah.
How you get Kanye? And then every big artist in the game, yo, talk to me nice. Tell me what your fit costs, right?
Yep.
That's the show, right? But the episodes are the different people.
Right.
Right? And those are the ones that we share. Make sense? So that's us in the video. And what you can do on Instagram is you can create a collaborator post.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm on it and I like it, I'm going to share it.
Okay.
And guess what that does?
It puts me in front of a bigger crowd.
Get you in front of my audience. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, another idea is, if I were you, I would definitely start a YouTube.
Okay.
You have a YouTube page?
I don't.
Yeah, either a YouTube page, well, both. A YouTube page and a podcast.
Okay.
The reason people, do you listen to podcasts?
Not often. Sometimes.
Not often? You listen to podcasts? I listen to podcasts? If I'd have said, do you listen to podcasts 10 years ago, you wouldn't even know what that means.
Yeah.
But now you know what a podcast is, right? And a lot of people are listening to podcasts. When people get in their car, not everybody's listening to music like they were 15 years ago.
Right.
Like if I asked you a question 15 years ago, you were 5, but there was a time where if I asked your dad, like, yo, what you listening to in your car? He's going to tell me what rapper he's listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? I'm like, yo, what do you listen to? You can be like, oh, listen to that UGK, listen to Jay-Z. But now if I ask the same question, what are you listening to? Like back then, it would be an assumption that I'm talking about music. It would be an assumption like, yo, what are you listening to? Oh, I'm listening to this Beyonce, I'm listening to Jeezy, right? But now, I don't know, the answer isn't assumed that it's music.
Right.
I say, well, what are you listening to? You might be like, yo, I'm listening to this one podcast. I'm listening to YouTube. It's not automatically music. So people are more comfortable listening to voices and listening to messages. I don't know an impactful podcast that somebody like you would listen to. And I probably understand why you don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts, because there's no 20-year-old giving you the game.
Yeah.
There isn't any. There's a bunch of social proofs or EYLs or my boy Pushman Mitch, he got a podcast. We got podcasts. But I don't know if I know any that's talking directly to youth that want to do something more with their life. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you can lead the way of that. But again, I'm not talking about the clothing. I'm talking about how do we push the message.
Right.
If people start to buy into the message, they'll give you money for the clothes.
Right.
They're not buying the clothes.
They're buying the message.
They're buying the message. Does that make sense?
It make a lot of sense.
So, and this gives you more content. So if you're going to do, this is what I suggest. Come up with 50 topics that a 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old wants to get information about. And it might be sports, music, entertainment. It might be, how to get a record deal, or a whole conversation about water boys, or how to start a clothing line, or I don't know, should I go to college or not? I don't know, 50 topics. And you need to shoot those topics and put them on YouTube. Yes, Instagram too, but when you're searching for something, you don't search on Instagram for it.
Right.
Like if you want to start a clothing line, would you go on Instagram to find out?
No.
Of course not. How would you do that? There's no way to really search it. Where do you go?
I go on YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
You're selling information. People go on YouTube for information. So you need to lean into YouTube. If you have 50 topics and you do 50 videos on these topics, You put them on YouTube, you take the clips out and put them on Instagram. But we're selling the brand. And just make sure you're always wearing the apparel.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You gotta give them the buy into it. But now you gotta do it though.
Right.
You gotta close the time between the idea and monetization. And would I sponsor your podcast? Probably. If you got that energy and you got that audience, am I gonna sponsor your podcast? Of course. Because I need to know how much it's going to cost to get in front of your podcast.
Right.
But every single video that you create, you need to put an ad for your brand in the video.
Okay, like an Instagram ad? You saying like Facebook ads?
So on YouTube.
Okay, YouTube.
Let's say you're going to do a video, you're teaching something for 20 minutes. Say you and your dad get together, y'all doing a video. And the video is 20 minutes. You need to shoot an ad that says this episode is sponsored by Dope Man Clothing or Dope, however you describe it, dominating on purpose every day. You don't have to tell them that you're the CEO. You could tell them, yo, I'm 20 years old. I live by this. If you got a son, daughter, brother, sister, you need to like show them that they are dope, but we are taking the power from these negative annotations and or these negative concepts and we making it positive. You can't stop your kid from wanting to be dope. You can't.
Right.
But you can change the meaning. You can tell them that it means something. So this is why I wear it. My dad wears it. All my friends wear it. So y'all need to check it out. Dope Man Clothing. You don't have to say, yo, this is mine. But it's for the genre. It's for the kids. It's for the people who want to like be intentionally successful and for the parents. Because believe it or not, on your show, parents are going to watch it because they can't understand or reach their child.
Right.
My parents had a hard time reaching my brother. I wasn't bad, but they had a hard, like they couldn't really reach him. You know what I mean? He didn't want to hear nothing about that. But I know if I was a kid, my dad got me a Dope Man hoodie. He was like, yo, dope means dominating on purpose every single day. So I'm going to give you this, but I want you to dominate. Whatever you do, dominate. I would want to buy it for myself if I saw the ad. But if I'm a parent, I buy it for my kid too. Make sense?
Right.
So we don't have to have them support you, but we have to put inside this message the sale of the product. That make sense?
Make a lot of sense.